You could almost say he moves like Akoza Sensei.
Yeah, in Japanese, I said "shisei no chikara ga tsudawaru." So the force derived from the posture then affects me.
What's even cooler is that because this is the really Oshida-san never done this. When
No.
he does this properly, it looks so different, right? You guys can see completely the way he.
This was funny. Like right here, his arms were actually like super relaxed already.
I mean, if you look at his upper back, you can see it's completely different orientation than it was before. You know, when he first started, he looked like he was hunched over.
Mm-hmm.
You could almost say he moves like Akoza Sensei.
I look at the ears, the ear to the collarbone relationship a lot. And a lot of people will talk about how somebody mentioned this in the comments of this video where they're like, oh, in a lot of martial arts, they talk about, you know, raise your head, you know, to the heavens like there's a piece of string attached or blah, blah, blah. It's like that never made much sense to me. But you notice, like, if you give him that correction, automatically his head starts to kind of like rise up. Like his head is straight-ish, basically.
So, you know, for me, in my martial arts experience, people had told me something similar to that before, but they never explained why, and I never saw a difference. You know, they said it, but they never made the physical correction. But I think, you know, when you do make that physical correction, as we saw here, the result is vastly different.
I suspect that particular correction where people say, oh, suspend your head like it's on a piece of string or whatever, like 90% of people say that without having like a clue what that actually means. All they know is that they just regurgitate it because they heard it because such and such teacher said it.
I would not be shocked at all because that was my experience.
So that's why I don't mention that particular correction because I find it honestly kind of useless. So I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. I just found in my personal practice, I never found it of much help. And I found like I was chasing a certain correction, whereas like if you give a correction, it should produce a certain effect. Like you shouldn't have to chase it, basically.
Well, in this case, it certainly worked. So I think this is more or less the end of your instruction in this segment. And then I think the sensei comes back in and builds on top of what you started. All right, so let's move on to the next part. Or actually, Alex, do you have any other comments on this segment here?
Well, I think this is where everyone actually should start from Rob's section. He really lays it out in such a short amount of time, no less. He lays out what's really important in doing the Aunkai version of Agete. And it really is starting with the posture. I know in my class, we teach posture religiously, you know, getting that front center line. And then maintaining that throughout your, you know, technique or movements that you're trying to achieve. So Rob starting with that correction just from the postural side is a very good start. I mean, I would say that everyone should, that's the only thing they should really be concentrating on in the beginning.
By the way, Alex, who is much too modest to say this, actually has a better correction where he literally creates the center line. In fact, this NTH trick, I don't want to call it it's not really a trick because I did use it to train myself, but I also think now it's a step that I could probably skip. But when like I'm pressed for time. I find it works quicker, but Alex actually has a much better way where he creates the center line, which he uses in his classes, which I actually use simply because it's actually better. Unfortunately, when I tried this on Shioda, it took a little bit too much time because you have to get the guys to do the exercise, and it takes about 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes maybe. And Ark was like, this is gonna take too much time. Like Shioda says it was like, well, I mean, we could just like time lapse it or something. He's like, no. I was like, fine. Okay, let's just use NTH because it's more camera friendly. Because it's like that quick fix is like, bam, magic. There
That's what
you
everyone's
go.
looking
The
for.
pressure's down, right? Us Americans, we want that insta fix. Alex's is actually like, it's not quite the insta fix. It's like you have to microwave it. You have to actually set it on a timer for about 5 minutes.
It's like 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes, right? But 4 minutes on video is like, dude, how long are they going to do
That's an
this thing?
age.
It's like forehead back, chin back, open the chest, open the hips, down and out, down and I mean, it's like right. So
It's like-
so I can understand why it's not very camera friendly, but for people that hear this or watch this, I do highly recommend that you check out Alex, who will point out all the details till your brain hurts.